Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up? What's up? What is up? Back once again. It is the Incredible In the Black podcast. And in case you weren't aware, this is a podcast dedicated to covering the current events and social issues going on in your black world and covering it all from the perspective of three grown ass men who know when there's no justice, there's no peace. I am your host, Big O, Mr. In the Black himself. But you know, I can never do this alone. Let me introduce you to the rest of my Johnny Cochran crew. Crush, say what's up.
What's good, everybody?
L, say what's up, man.
What's good, family? How y'all?
No doubt. And this is a special edition of the Black Light. Of course, as you guys know that rock with us, the Black Light is our opportunity to take a deep dive into the people and conversations that deserve a deep dive. But before we get into the show, L, please tell these good folks how they can become part of the family if they want to become part of the family.
Head on over to our website, man, www.intheblackpodcast.com. Right-hand corner, you can click the Become Family tab. There you can do a variety of things, man. You can sign up for our Patreon and become a patron. We got a number of dope-ass tiers for you to check out. If you just want to donate, $ in the Black PDCST. Buy some of our swag. Help us get bigger and better. We'd appreciate all that you guys do, man.
No doubt, no doubt. And if you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way, helps the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button as well so that you don't miss out on the next episode. And if you really rock with us, make sure that you follow us across social media at In the Black PDCST. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know what has happened today. Earlier today, around 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 Central Time, a verdict was rendered in the case of Derek Chauvin, the murder trial for Derek Chauvin against the people versus Derek Chauvin for George Floyd. He was found guilty on all three charges, from second-degree manslaughter, second-degree murder, the entire gamut. And we got an opportunity to watch this man not only get bail revoked, but walked out in handcuffs. I got a mixed bag of feelings, my guy. Got a mixed bag of feelings right now. Like, part of me wants to claim this as being justice, but I know that this is not necessarily justice, right? It's more so accountability than anything, that you're finally able to say that someone in law enforcement did something so egregious that they deserve to be punished for it. I will say, even if I don't feel necessarily satisfied and feel that it's justice for me, I am happy that George Floyd's family was able to, in some capacity, to put closure on this. What do you guys think, man? Who wants to go first?
Well, I too have some mixed feelings myself. While I do feel, I feel that the family did get, a large part of what they wanted. It does feel like, for such, from a legal standpoint, such a quote unquote slam dunk, it shouldn't really be the decision to really be that special. It's so obvious that, that they, to most people that this would have been a guilty verdict. But, knowing what we've been through this, with this in the past, was hard to have hope. Nevertheless, it did happen. It's a step to me, a step. And, what will, my concern is what larger impact will this, if any, have on American law enforcement? Yeah, I mean, I can get deeper into that, but I want to hear what my man L got to say, because I love that shirt.
My man, appreciate it. It's still fuck the police all day, every day, 365, and twice on Sunday.
Facts.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's not I dig the struggle. I dig the complexity between wanting some sense of justice for for us as a people and for George Floyd's family. Um, I don't even necessarily view this as a form of accountability.
Hmm.
I dig how folks can view it that way. So it's not something that I'm looking to necessarily battle or go to war over. But the reason why I struggle with the accountability component is because usually when you are holding someone accountable, um, it's not the person who has done the harm that sets the standard for that accountability. It's usually the person who has been harmed that sets the standard for that level of accountability. My,
Mhm.
you know, basic example would be if someone is punching me in the face, they don't get to determine the repercussions that I
They're
give
levied
them
on them.
or they're levied on them.
Right.
And I think that's the plight that we as the people find ourselves in this country, that we actually have to depend on the motherfuckers who commit violence against us to give us their version of motherfucking justice.
Right.
And that's complex and that's difficult because even though as someone who is, striving towards being an abolitionist and to abolish this whole fucking system, I don't know how to navigate these moments where my people need relief. They need fucking relief from the oppression that we're facing. So even today, I see, this motherfucker get led out of the courtroom, and the moment that they put the cuffs on him, I turned that shit off because what I didn't want to see afterwards was I have mixed feelings about seeing us celebrate these moments. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful and mean or harsh towards the folks that are celebrating. I understand why we do it, but I also know that we still got a motherfucking fight in front of us. So I didn't say a whole lot because I don't want to be the dude that piss on
It's
motherfuckers'
raining on everybody's
parades.
parade. We get it.
Yeah, I mean, because again, we're looking for fucking relief and pressure to be let off of us in these moments. So it's like I don't want to come through and be on some, hey y'all, still fuck these motherfuckers, man. This is I don't feel like I feel like of course I feel like what Chauvin did was evil. There's no other word to use it. Evil, heinous act. But I also feel like this is an opportunity where I think, the system gave us a sacrifice, man. They gave us one in this particular instance because
Listen, my
I think they
guy.
sincerely were concerned that we're beginning to radicalize in a way that is reminiscent to the 60s. And again, we got some fucking flaws and some shit taking place right now that is ugly as shit. But remember, after when Dr. King was assassinated, the Red Summer, what was taking place all across this country, over 100 riots and rebellions going through.
Cities across America burned down quickly.
If they didn't convict this dude today, I think they were really concerned about folks burning shit rightfully down.
Interesting. It's odd. In my daytime job, I work for the government, and they sent out emails. Our department sent out emails, I think maybe about 5 to 10 minutes before the verdict was released, saying, hey, we know some of you guys are starting to come inside the building, but we think there might be some shenanigans happening downtown. So if you can, stay your goofy asses at home. So it shows you that a lot of folks were worried about the outcome of this trial. I'm going to say this, man. Like I said before, I'm really at a loss, not only for words, but my emotions are all jumbled up because yes, we were able to get him convicted. And I say we in the collective sense, right? Like this pressure valve that's being released, as L was alluding to, that Chauvin was convicted. But that doesn't mean shit in the grander scale of things, man. Like let's take a step back and look at what it took essentially for us to get a conviction for this dude. It not only took a 10-minute video of this man sitting on another human being's neck and snuffing the life out of him and seeing it on loop for at least a month before then now having a nationwide protest happen that lasted the entire summer. And then after that, to have a prosecution almost have to put down a damn near flawless case against someone, only to then get convicted. So what does this conviction then ultimately mean for the trials of Kim Porter, who's also in Minneapolis, that shot Deontay White? What does it mean for Ahmaud Arbery's case? What does it mean for Breonna Taylor's case when they try to reopen that? What does it mean for Tamir Rice's case that they're trying to reopen? Like, this conviction, it's great. It means I can understand why people are so absorbed in it, because we've been holding this pent up anxiety for a lot of folks. Even with everything that we've been seeing, many of us were holding our breath, thinking that, oh, this dude, they're going to let him off on everything. Or even if they don't let him off on everything, they're going to convict him with the lightest sentencing that he's ultimately going to get. Sentence with 10 years through his time, and get like 2 years with probation and some more shit. So, like,
that sentencing is 8 weeks out. Let's hold off.
This is what I think. I think. Well, let's move. We'll save that for later. With all of that I just said, like, in the grander scale of things, like you said, it feels like this was just a sacrificial lamb, and it took a perfect storm of events for this to actually happen. We're not going to get that many times. Walter Scott got shot in fucking South Carolina in the back with video, and there was a fucking hung jury the first time around. There's some people in that damn jury pool saw that video and thought that this dude was justified in shooting an unarmed man that he knew that didn't have a weapon in the back, and thought that was cool. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, I'm looking at the grander scale of things, and this, like, it feels like it doesn't really fit in the picture. Go ahead, Crush.
Yeah, it feels like this could somehow be used in some twisted version of a precedent, that this is the bar for conviction.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Instead of this being the minimum, this being the barest of minimum to acknowledging the use of excessive force in the case. You know, it's like perception's a motherfucker.
And I don't think this, man, I'll be honest with you, I don't think this does a motherfucking thing, bro. I'm telling you, I don't think this.
You've always been a pessimist anyway, my guy. Don't do that.
Okay,
I'll fuck with you.
But I mean, will a lawyer quote this case? Will a lawyer quote this case?
But no, but
I don't think it's the case at all.
But if we just base this off of history, what we've seen, anytime that we've had any sort of black success or black progress, what happens afterwards?
They up the game.
They up the game, and they
up the game
more egregious to us than they did last time. I don't think this is going to be, and the reason why I say that, on the heels of this trial taking place, what do we see? On the heels, right down the road, while this trial is taking place,
we're battling Kim Porter. Yeah,
we see the same shit. Then, right in the midst of the damn worldwide protests, y'all president gets up and says, "What? We're going to give more money to these folks for reform. We're going to give them more money, more training. We're going to the very thing that we're asking him not to do, he turns around and does. The very thing that we are in the street begging him not to do, that we went to the polls for him to get into office, he turns around and gives us his white ass to kiss. And we think it's going to be changed? Get the fuck out of here. Nah, bro.
Did either one of you, actually, before we even jump into that, the political side of it, did either one of you, did you think that he was going to get off? Even with everything that we had been seeing? Like, it seemed like it was, and to me, in all honesty, it seemed like the prosecution ran a perfect trial. 32 witnesses, experts in every goddamn field.
I expected a charge. All three. That was nice.
What about you, El? Did you expect anything?
I expected him to be convicted, man. I get found guilty of all three.
You were really expecting that?
I was really expecting that. Because I really believed at this point in time that the system knew that they had to
give somebody up.
And I don't even think they necessarily were giving it to black folks. I think they were concerned about white liberals, the young progressives. I think they really felt like they had to give someone up at this moment. They had to. If he didn't get found guilty on all of these motherfucking charges, there's no words to even describe what everybody who walked in looking at it was like. Oh, fuck this country. This country don't give a fuck about us. Fuck the police, all those things. And then you end up doing this. I don't think this should be a moment that should literally change our perspective on the way things are going in the country. I think this should be an isolated case of enjoying the moment and waking up tomorrow morning and saying, damn, we got so much work to fucking get done.
That's my fear too, man. My fear, honestly, is that when the history is written about this case in the moment that we're living in now, they're going to write it as though Chauvin was just one bad apple and that the trial and justice prevailed and law
enforcement has been purified.
There were police that testified against them, which we very rarely see. They're going to change the argument into it being one bad apple that the justice system happened to catch, that's it.
If there was any sign of them sacrificing him, that was the moment when the knife was going across the throat. When those cops got on that stand, that was when they decided, okay, that's it. Throw him in the fire.
Yeah, when his boss came out, I said I knew it was a done deal after that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what do we think about? Do you want to tackle seeing Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump first, or do you want to tackle Joe and Kamala first? Because everybody in the money came out with the press conference today. So let's start with Crump and Sharpton. I can dig the fact that you've been in the corner of the family since this happened, giving them some sort of level of support. I can dig it. But that was almost 20 to 25 minutes of what seemed like back patting to me. Like, it didn't sit well with me because people were celebrating and chanting, and I get it. I don't want, like El said, I don't want to come across like I'm just trying to pee on people's parade and shit, but it didn't come across to me as necessary. And watching that whole display, that press conference really sat with me. Like, I had to turn it off after that. And my wife is the one that told me, hey, the president's on the TV. Maybe you should take a listen to what him and Kamala have to say. And I said, let me watch that at least so that I can have some information to talk about during the show. But I had to turn it off when I saw Sharpton and Crump talking, and I was like, come on, man. This I don't know. What did you guys think about the whole press conference?
I think Al Sharpton is a absolute disgrace to Black people all over the diaspora. I think he is one of the biggest race hustlers we have ever seen in any capacity. I watched this dude on his Instagram, Twitter, whatever it was, walking to a fucking private jet headed to, and the caption said, I'm headed to support the Floyd family. This motherfucker is walking to a private what?
Listen. I'm going to tell you guys.
Run more Crump's cases.
Listen. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insider baseball. You know that I'm about getting as many Black faces, whether we agree with them or disagree with them, on the show to have these conversations. And I have reached out to Sharpton's people, and Sharpton's people have since sent us emails back, and we're like, nah, I guess we're not big enough for Mr. Sharpton to be on our show. that shows you what this thing. Go ahead, Crush. Go ahead. I know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to blame it on L, because they saw the videos in prep for the show, and they said, that fucking light skinned dude. I don't know if we would have fucking.
Man, nah. I mean, to be honest, I didn't catch the press conferences, but I did hear about them. And to be honest, I expected some grandstanding. You know what I'm saying? I expected some theater, from a lot of those people. But if anything, it just exacerbates the lack of true vision and leadership that we just don't have. And probably won't have for some time. Clearly, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that these people are expected every time something like this happens.
Yeah.
You know what's worse? Not that they're expected, that they're welcomed. The fact that they're welcomed is expected. That's the shit that burns my ass up, is the fact that they're welcomed. But guess what? I know some families that they show up, they get their ass whooped. I tell you that. You come on through the film if you want to.
I think there's a particular reason why we really haven't seen Sharpton, I won't say Crump, Sharpton and his ilk around Tamir Rice's mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a group of people, because there are people that are like, now we're not saying we don't want your help, but we don't need your help. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
Yeah.
I think Tamir Rice's mom would.
What can they do? What can they do?
That's a very good question, and I don't want to assume.
What do they offer? What do they bring to the table?
Anything. They don't offer anything. So I'm going to let our audience in the comments and in the emails. No, listen,
you're killing me, boss.
It's not about killing you. I said I don't want to assume that they don't offer anything, because let's be realistic. At the very least,
give your opinion on what they offer.
At the very least, their name brings notoriety to the case. If that's it. That's my opinion. That's it.
Wait a second. Well, there are different kinds of notoriety.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
I didn't say positive or negative. I said it brings notoriety to the case.
No. I'm talking about
hard. People recognized it.
I think the exact opposite happens. I think when Crump and Sharpton and these cats show up, people immediately turn their nose up and begin to lose
they trivialize
and energy. Because
they trivialize it.
These motherfuckers is involved.
I can dig
it. They trivialize it. They trivialize the shit.
So how do you think that works then? Because they seem to be everywhere. And from the way it's reported.
Because they're cheap.
No, well, the way it's reported, it seems as though these families reach out to them. That's the way it's reported. I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't know if I believe that.
No, I think these motherfuckers just show up and have relationships with the media, and they bully themselves to the microphone and to the podium because they got some leverage. I don't think these motherfuckers are. I've
heard some of these cats have their own direct lines to the media that will inform them on where things are when things are popping off. For a little give and take.
Ambulance chasers.
Yeah, that's courtesy, right? Ambulance chasers
on some TMZ shit, but in reverse.
Huh. All right. Speaking about the fluff that comes with the spectacle that comes with black pain, right? We also saw the president and vice president come out and give their thoughts about the trial and the verdict and what they're attempting to have happen. One of the things that I thought was very, very interesting, and Ella and I were joking about this a couple of days ago, after the shooting of Dante Wright, President Obama came out and tweeted, it's time for us to reimagine policing in America. And I was laughing at Elle. I said, only if we had a black president in office that could have helped us do that at one point in time, maybe that would have worked out. But I'm looking at it now and I'm feeling like I think I've been hanging with Elle too long, man. Like, I've become susceptible to the pessimism of everybody. And I try to be, a hope springs eternal type of person. But since then, it's like you hear them talking about this George Floyd bill that they want to pass. I'm
see the fact that I'm hearing that way too much. It begins to feel like a marketing tool.
I mean, part of politics is messaging too, but I mean, at the same time, like I said, it's not just messaging. It's like, what are you going to do? How do you turn messaging into action?
Sounds like
action is the worst of the bad part.
It sounds like a title. It sounds like a title on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
just look at how much money is going to the police in the bill. If I am George Floyd's family, I am absolutely fucking appalled that you would
Hmm.
put my family member's name on
the
a
bill?
fucking bill that's going to give more money to the motherfuckers who killed me. Like, I don't understand this logic that we
I
keep
can dig it.
falling into this damn trap of thinking
I
that
see it.
reform is the shit. Like, have we not even realized how often police departments have had reform? Like, not even on a
Yeah.
large
Yeah.
national
Yeah,
level.
local municipalities.
Oh, it's
do this
old.
reform all the time.
This is an old movement.
Man, listen, I
An
remember
old movement.
Frank Rizzo, the most racist mayor probably in all of every country in Philadelphia. This motherfucker actually did police reform in Philly, but he only did it to appease a
Hold on, how
small.
did Rizzo do? No. What type of reform did Rizzo do?
Rizzo put reform in where it was something to do with a chokehold or something, but because it's in one of my books stashed behind me. But this motherfucker, listen, it's not the first time we've seen reform. We've seen reform probably amongst every possible president that you ever could imagine having in this country, and it hasn't equaled shit. So maybe we should try something different. I don't know. Maybe we should come up with a more novel idea, like not giving these motherfuckers money, like getting rid of police unions. Maybe that's a good place to start.
I think that I mean, that task is a difficult task, don't you think?
Why is it a difficult task?
Because there's
that fucking FOP, man.
That's what I'm saying. In the fraternal order police,
fucking FOP, man.
When you're relying on folks to help you do your job and make sure you stay in office, and not to mention these guys, order police, they donate heavy to politics.
They have investors in the tech industry.
No, I agree. I think it's a difficult task, but I find it really fascinating how this is one of the topics when I bring it up to Black people, getting rid of the police or community policing, that we always take that's a really hard sell type of position when all we've ever had was really hard sales. All we've ever known was really difficult tasks. I think one of the things is it's not even so much about a deep-seated hatred of the police that I personally have. I just see the harm that they continue to do in my community on a daily basis. We got to get to some point that we have a conversation to say what is going to actually work for our community. Not what we need, but what will actually work for our community.
So hold on. So you separate the two? What works and what we need?
Sure. What's the most effective? Sure. I can separate those two based off. So what would work would mean what I need plus what I have the opportunity of actually getting and achieving. I think can be a little bit of a distinction there. But I think we give these folks so much power that we don't even dream anymore about actually getting rid of the very boot that's on our neck.
Okay, so given what you just said, because we recognize that this is something that we want, we also recognize that this is something that is difficult. How do you think we can go about doing that then? Because we've already talked about how they have this incestuous relationship amongst all three of them: the fraternal order, the police, politicians, the prosecutors. We know that relationship. One, we know where the money is coming to when you talk about the politicians and how the FOP funnels money to these politicians on a regular basis to continue to gain their support. 2, 3, not just the relationship that these folks have, but ultimately selling it to a group of people, ultimately that they've been built on this mythos that policing is that there needs to be law and order in the country. All of those things factor in when you're talking about dismantling the system. So how would you go about doing it?
For once, I'm not going.
If you had a pie in the sky thought process.
Listen, because it's such a multi-layered type of response and answer, I'm gonna point people to 100 different resources and 100 different places where they can go. First off,
I love it.
To get more knowledge about what it actually is and isn't. I think that's one of the first mistakes that we think that we lose, because we often think, and I understand, I dig it, particularly living in a predominantly Black community with low socioeconomic status and a high crime rate. I dig the idea of removing the police from the field, that based off not having police there, you're going to be victimized more or because the police are no longer there. My response to that is police don't stop crime. Most time police presence actually incites it and makes it even more.
Yeah, I give you that.
They don't prevent crime. But I think one of the things that we have to do is begin to say, hey, I dream of a world where I'm no longer abused by these people. What research? Because this abolition is not a new phenomenon. There's a long, extensive history of Black radicals who have been putting this information out. And if anybody really is sincerely interested in learning about this, at Elgin Bailey, I will send you resources. We can have a conversation. We can unpack stuff at Elgin Bailey. Let's have the conversation.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. What do you want to see going forward now, if anything? If you had your druthers, if you had your opportunity, if you had a magic pen right now to say, okay, now that we've had this verdict, what you would hope to see in America going forward, what would it be? Crush, go ahead and start us off.
I mean, I would hope to see some true energy amongst all of our communities to redefine what law enforcement is for their communities. And that means, defunding them. That means, getting the resources that the community really needs versus a military style of surveillance. That's what I would hope, that that our energy would be there for that, clearly, and not being so comfortable with this one sacrificial lamb. I would hope that we're not content with this. That's
Elgin, that comment, Rusty, is for you.
Yeah, the merch is coming out next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, no bullshit. I mean, the statistics bear it out. That's why I see you rolling. Yeah, I roll your eyes. The statistics bear it out. We're one of the few countries that still have the death penalty on the books. The death penalty does not prevent crime at all. So think about like just on the anyway. Go ahead. We're going to leave that one alone. Go ahead.
Just a question though. Okay, so let's say there is a serial rapist, murderer, robber, etc. If the police arrest them, are they not preventing a future crime? So hold on. You already labeled them a serial rapist, murderer, and robber, dumbass. That means they've already committed crimes.
So it's not a prevention.
Crimes. Shut up. Come on, man. Rusty, fucking get the hell out of here with that stupid shit. Come on, be smarter, ask our folks. And Trent, by the way, fuck Lightfoot too, bro.
Hold up. Why you say that? I'm just asking. I'm asking because you haven't
paid attention to what's going on in Chicago?
I have not seen a press conference from her. All I've been reading is the straight
young brother Adam Toledo,
right,
is involved with that case.
Right.
Before the actual cam footage came out, her and her other croonies were out besmudging and dragging this young brother's name through the mud. So now she's trying to double back and make it seem like she gives a shit. She's worthless too.
Okay, because the one thing that I saw from her, it wasn't even necessarily a full article with her speaking. It was literally in the title of the article. Lightfoot says we failed Adam. The city of Chicago fails Adam Toledo. Or something.
She needs a fucking tailor. Is what she needs. Them two big damn double-breasted suits.
Shut up! That's not what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Okay.
This guy.
All right. I know I have my feelings about it, but given what's already happened, and I think I've already expressed it. Given what's already happened, do we think that this has an effect on Deontay Wright's case? Given that they're in the same vicinity, all of that.
I'd like to think so.
No, I'm asking because I'm
laughing at Carmen. I'm laughing at Carmen.
One lamb is enough, man. We can't have two plates of veal in the same night.
So no more sacrificial lambs is what you're saying?
Nah, you can't have that much veal in one night, man.
You're stupid.
I tell you what, even if hopefully underneath this trash ass system that we currently have, that this woman, this beast, is convicted underneath the trash system. I still don't want us to begin to look at that as all of a sudden the system is swinging towards our favor.
Understood.
Because that I just don't. I don't want us to fall in line with that, man. I don't think that I don't think she's going to get what Chauvin got. I don't think that she's going to end up in that same position.
She's going to end up, I think, to be very honest with you, I think she's going to end up very similar to Amanda Geiger, the one that shot Botham Jean in Texas. Yeah. I think it's going to fall into the same lines as that. They're going to be like, okay, well, like we really can't ignore the dumbness that you did. So we're going to have to do something. But at the end of the day, I don't think she's going to spend more than 3 years, if that, in jail. Not even close.
And that point that Trent just made is, I can't remember the case where somebody screwed up. They overcharged the guy that made it difficult. And I wish I was on the tip of my tongue, but they got to be careful with actually overcharging, because when you overcharge these folks, you give them a higher charge because you want them to. Well, some people say that you actually want them to go to jail. I tend to think that they intentionally overcharge because
to let them go. No, I can dig it. Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah, it's a silly game, man. All these folks are working together, but I don't know. I man.
You don't think there's going to be any effect whatsoever?
No.
It's unfortunate that we even have to have this conversation, to be very honest with you, man. I know a lot of folks. Dude, I'm already anticipating it. Between now and Thursday, when we have the next show, man, I'm going to see messages from folks talking about that you guys we're peeing on people's parade and so on and so forth. That we got to look at this positively and all that other stuff. But
I think we do look at it positively.
Nah, man, we just can't. We just can't lose sight. Yeah, we just can't lose sight of the bigger picture here. You know, which is very easy. Which is very easy to do from moment to moment. You know, but there's a much larger game at play, and we can't be content with small victories. But if they're victories at all,
if somebody is choking you with both hands around your neck and you can't breathe, and one finger loosens up and you can breathe just a little bit more, you're still being choked. So I dig the fact that people are feeling okay that one finger is slightly off their neck. I dig it. I'm not trying to be harsh towards folk. I just don't want us to fall into this trap that others have fallen in throughout history, where we begin to look at shit differently and all of a sudden say,
become complacent.
Oh, Obama's in office. We got progress all of a sudden. We got a black president. And this motherfucker ends up treating us like shit the whole time he's in office. But hey, that's another story.
That's a whole nother conversation for another.
I know
we'll have that conversation.
You know, so I don't want you to.
We'll have that conversation. Maybe Al Sharpton's folks will write us back and actually say they want to be on the show. We'll have that conversation too.
The first thing I'm going to do is cut his hair, get rid of that fucking perm.
You know what? And on that note, we didn't do our pies check-in at the beginning, so we're going to do it at the end. Given everything that we've experienced.
Let's switch it up. Instead of doing pies, let's switch it up. Let's do Black Joy. Give us one instance out of all the past weeks since the last show to this show where you've had a moment of Black Joy, something that's made you smile and feel good about life.
Go ahead and start. No, let the light-skinned wonder go ahead and do it. He suggested to let him do it.
PG-13, please.
Oh no! Listen, I won't go down that path. For me personally, this past week, a moment of Black joy was when I got a chance to have a conversation with an elder who was excited about some of the work and ideas that I was doing in the community. That's reminiscent to what he and his family were doing, and he encouraged and poured into me. That was a great fucking moment for me.
Fantastic, man! I love that. I love that shit. Go ahead, Crush. Come on, Crush. Your life is not filled with that much despair, man. Don't do that.
Oh, I mean, despair. Nah, man, despair. I mean, you know,
moment of Black joy.
Despair. A moment. I mean, I guess when my niece tackled me out of the blue, I didn't know she was there, and I really missed her a lot at that moment. And it's special because we're taking a very special interest in her education. And you know, with her aunt being an educator, we take it very seriously that she doesn't like books. So yeah, so I was very happy that she jumped on my skull and asked about a book that we had. So that made me feel good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. For me is honestly, man, I had this past weekend, like many weekends, you guys know how I do with my kids when the weekend comes, even though we've been trapped in the house for almost a year together, right? When the weekend comes, like we really get an opportunity to let our hair down, and I get a chance to really spend and sit down with my kids. No editing files, no finishing reports, no work, no nothing. And just getting an opportunity to sit down and watch TV and anime and all that other stuff with my kids. And the conversations that spawn from that, like every single time, like they never cease to amaze me with their questions, man. And I love every bit of it. I love it even more because I know that when growing up, I didn't have those conversations with my dad, because culturally that wasn't really the thing. You know what I mean? So them sitting down with me and having these conversations, like it always does me in. You can never find me any higher than after a Saturday or Sunday after watching anime and cartoons and all that other stuff with my kids, man.
Awesome.
All right, man. Thank you guys for joining us for another incredible episode of the In the Black podcast. But before we go out, Crush, please tell these folks how they can find you if they'd like to find you, man.
Man, please find me on Instagram at SB Methods, and check out the first official single from my crew called Sense of Mia in celebration of 420 for our new album called Crush, coming out this Friday.
No doubt. That's what's up.
My man got an album coming out named after his.
Oh yeah. I mean that was complete. That was complete. That was
whole another level.
That was a complete coincidence, yo. That was a complete coincidence. I didn't even tell my crew that they called me Crush on this show.
Nigga,
they named the album Crush. I did not suggest that shit.
We ain't hearing it because we know you bullshitting. We ain't hearing it.
Dope album. It's dope album.
L, where can people find you if they want to find you, my guy?
Twitter and Facebook, man, at Elgin Bailey. For all you dumbasses that got comments, come through, holla at me. Morons.
And I am Big O, Mr. In the Black himself. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at MR_in the Black. And I want to thank you guys once again for joining us for this incredible on-the-spot hot minute Black Light segment. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to kick it with us, and we appreciate it. Make sure you follow us across social media at In the Black PDCST. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out our websites for previous episodes. Join our Patreon if you want to become part of the family, so you can see back, behind the scenes content and all that other stuff. But we'll see you later on this week on Thursday, of course. Until next time, informed, intelligent, in the black.
In the Black.
Peace.
In the Black. Peace.